Hi everybody. This video is going to show you how to make tables in Microsoft Word. So here's the same example results section we were working with before. Let's say that you created or you did an interview, so now you want to include a table with your interview themes and then also the quotes that correspond to those themes. So when you're creating a table, you have to decide how many columns and rows you're going to need. So to make a table, you go Insert, Table, and here you can kind of draw what you need, or if you need to actually define more columns or rows outside of this, then you can do that. So let's say that I have based on my interview notes, I have determined 3 different themes, and there are 3 quotes for each of those themes. All right. So I'm going to need 2 columns, one for the themes, one for the quotes. If I wanted to do an individual row for each of the quotes, I could, but you can type within columns, so that's okay. But I'll definitely need my own row for the title and the label of my table, my own row for the label for my column, so a label that says themes, and then one that says quotes, and then I'll need a place to put my themes and my quotes. So I'm going to say that I'm going to need a 2x3. And I can actually combine, cells, or I can split cells. So if I find that I actually need more than what I have, I can do that. And the new version of Word is cool too, because if you scroll kind of in between rows, you can add them. So just by clicking on this little plus sign. So that's kind of nice too. So if you create the wrong size table to begin with, don't worry, because you can always fix it. Okay. Now, one thing I'm definitely going to want to do right away is actually merge my top 2, or my first row, because this is going to be my title row. So I'm going to highlight it, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say merge cells. All right. So remember, with charts and graphs, they're called figures. With tables, we're calling them tables. So this is my first table, table 1. And then with tables, you would actually put the title underneath the label. So this is going to be themes and quotes from interview with teacher. All right. So now I need to include my labels for my columns. So I'm going to have my themes, and then here are my quotes. Okay. So I'm not going to make anything up here, but we'll say theme 1, and I had 3 quotes. So quote 1, quote 2, quote, the quotation marks, quote 3, okay? And now I'm ready for my next theme. Theme 2, so notice how I have lines separating the themes, quote 1, etc. So you get the idea, okay? So this is a pretty good start for a table. Now I can kind of play around with any shading or the lines and stuff like that. So if I highlight the whole thing, this is where I can kind of play around with stuff. So the borders, I can actually choose to get rid of some of the borders. Oh, see, there it gets rid of the bottom border, that goes to the top, that gets rid of the left, that gets rid of the right. I can just get rid of all the outside borders, all that kind of good stuff. So I can play around with the borders if I wanted to. I can also, if I go to layout or design, if I wanted to do kind of custom borders, if I highlight the whole table and I go to right click, and I go here to borders and shading. This is where over here I can kind of specify which borders I want. So let's say I actually wanted to keep the top and the bottom border, but I didn't want the side borders. And I say okay there. So now I have all my top borders back. Let's say though I didn't want this little border right here. So what I can do is just highlight this specific row. And again, I'm going to borders and shading. I want to get rid of that little middle line. Oh, not that one. The middle line. Say okay, and it disappears. Okay, so that kind of allows you to play with some things. I could get rid of this one too if I wanted to. Again, by highlighting just this particular row. Going back to borders and shading, get rid of the middle line. So again, you just kind of have to play around with some things. And again, if you wanted to let's say, shade the themes and the quotes row, you can do that by, again, going to borders and shading here, borders and shading, and I want that particular row to be shaded a little bit, just slightly. So let's say like a 15%, maybe 10%. See? And so it just kind of, can set certain things apart in your table, and it's kind of up to you. And of course, you can create a table with quantitative data as well. It just doesn't have to just be qualitative data. So think about the example table that was part of the example results, where that particular student included a table with percentages that showed certain responses. So at least now you know how to make a table on Microsoft Word, and this obviously involves typing in your numbers manually, but if this is a way that you like to display your data, this is also an option for you.